What's good, YouTube? Today we're reacting to the horrors you hear as a 911 operator slash informer. I think this is, it's got the little protective warning on it and stuff, so audiences, all that stuff. Live on Twitch, first link in the description, as well as a link to original video. Take all this stuff seriously, and I pray for anybody going through anything struggle or challenging.
I've heard people murdered. I've heard people commit suicide. I've heard people walking into a room to find their children dead. I've heard the whole span of humanity in my job. Any sort of violent situation you can think of, I've heard it. And everyone that I work with has also heard the same things. The gunshot next to a phone just sounds like a really loud blare of static. If you don't know what you're listening for, it doesn't sound like a gunshot at all.
It's unfortunate. This is a job for people with
I've
strong
been
mental
working
states.
as a 911 operator for approximately 3 years. I became an operator to help people when they need it and get them through some of the worst times of their life. I imagined it would be having to deal with some basic matters that people have an emergency with, but it didn't always end up being like that. You could have a 12-hour shift, you could have an 8-hour shift, a 24-hour shift, and in that amount of time, you could take upwards of 200 to 300 phone calls, still be expected to handle everyone the same. 911 dispatchers are shown on TV as having 20 screens in front of them, being able to track your location no matter what, being able to get people to you immediately. That isn't what a government budget allows us to have. In reality, we don't have a ton of the latest and greatest technology.
CSI effect is real, y'all. Like all these cartoons and TV shows with police and all that stuff. It's not how real life works.
When you call 911, we rely on your triangulation of where you're at, pinging off of 3 different cell phone towers. We've had instances where we only get a phase 1 location, which is just the 1 cell phone tower. That's usually not going to be able to assist us in finding you. It's honestly a luck of the draw to find you within a block or within 2 miles. For example, we've had someone call 911 before. It sounded like a female screaming for help. It was very obvious that she was being hurt. And because we only got the phase 1, we aren't exactly able to send people out to come try and find you in such a big area. We just had to disconnect the call and take the next phone call. It's very difficult to listen to someone screaming for you and trying to get your help, but in reality, there's nothing we can do. Just have to hang up on them and talk to the next person like nothing happened.
It's hard.
So one night, I pick up a 911 call from a female who sounds very scared. It's obvious that she's whispering. When you call 911 and you're whispering, it's usually not a good sign. She had told us that she thinks somebody's in her house. She was upstairs, hiding in a closet. She had told me that she had a gun with her and that she isn't afraid to use it if someone enters her room. The call progressed to her whispering even quieter, that she hears footsteps coming up the stairs and she doesn't know what to do. As a 911 operator, we're not allowed to instruct people to do things, because if we instruct them to do something that causes them to become injured or get killed, we become criminally liable for their death. The female asked me if she was allowed to shoot the person that was coming in, and of course I can't tell her don't do that, but I also can't tell her to do that. And that's when I heard the gunshot. The door opened and she immediately shot her husband in the head.
Oh my gosh.
It's something that we have to think about every day.
Why
Not
didn't he
being able
call
to
her
give
to
somebody
tell you?
instructions on what to do can be incredibly frustrating, but to keep yourself safe from getting sued or sent to jail, you just kind of have to let the ball sit in their court. A lot of people call 911 to let you know that they're going to commit suicide. They essentially just want someone to come pick them up before their kids have to see. We do our best, obviously, to try and talk someone down from committing suicide, to try and get them help. I think that's the way of just making sure their family doesn't have to deal with any sort of uncomfortable situation. In my state, we're not considered first responders. We're categorized as clerical staff. We're essentially people who
My day
work
been
at a
going
front
good.
desk,
Appreciate you for asking.
according to the government. The only difference is we listen to people die. And honestly, it feels like a spit in the face. We're not offered as many programs or outlets to help us. It's very common for someone to develop
You can send a vid.
PTSD. We have to deal with people yelling at us all day and traumatic events on the phone, which causes people to quit left and right. Not having adequate staffing is kind of a domino effect. Not only does it affect the people who call 911, but it also affects the people who answer 911. So while your phone call is waiting, we're being burnt out, we're getting worked tirelessly, we're picking up the work of extra people for no extra benefit. But it gets very alarming when you see the number of people waiting become bigger than how many
Bro, it's
people are
looking sad,
able
bro.
to take a call. And it's just a queue of calls, so you don't know if it's somebody arguing
You wish you
or
could
if
sleep till
someone's
Sunday. I
currently
felt
getting
that.
killed. In this profession, seconds are the difference between life and death. One of the biggest problems we have is people abusing the system. You obviously have the people that lie and say their ex-boyfriend has a gun or drugs under his mattress. People calling in bomb threats in large public places. People saying that they have someone being held hostage in a house. We're going to respond like it's actually
Why
happening.
do people troll
One of
like
my
that? That stuff's
biggest
not funny,
fears
bro.
of having to hang
What's
up
good,
on a
Muffin?
prank call is the 1% chance that that was not a prank call. I definitely think this job isn't for everybody. I don't even think this job is suitable for someone who thinks they have thick skin. It takes a certain type of person to be able to listen to someone die on the phone
Oh,
and
he's
go home
tearing
at
up.
the end
Oh,
of
that's
the
so
day
sad.
like nothing happened.
Bro, this is super sad because there's jobs like this all around the world where people are forced to do stuff that's very, like, borderline impossible. Happy early birthday to you, by the way, Ryan. But, yeah, that's messed up, man, because there's a whole bunch of jobs where people have to do stuff that is very out of the ordinary. Like, there's jobs, of course, like, real estate sales people and all that stuff. Then you got people who have to do stuff like that. And they go through all that mental strain just at a regular job. Like, it's sad, bro.